Okay, hello and welcome, guys. I hope you're doing well today. Today is Friday, January 29th. Okay, and this is our math virtual meetup. So I'm glad you're here and hope you're ready to go. We're going to start off with our welcoming ritual, which is quick division. It's going to be a little bit different than what we did in class today because the way we're doing it in class today is a game. But I want you to try to get these as quickly as you can. Okay, so, excuse me. Yeah, we're doing quick division. Sorry. In my head, I had multiplication. Okay, so, here we go. 36 divided by 6. 64 divided by 8. 10 divided by 5. 25 divided by 5. And the last one, 72 divided by 8. Okay, so hopefully you've had a moment to think. Okay, 36 divided by 6, the answer is, let's use red. The answer is 6. 64 divided by 8 is 8. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 72 divided by 8 is 9. Ooh, kind of funny looking 9, but okay, so we've got those. Now, I have to tell you guys a secret. Another way of looking at these was to ask yourself the question, 6 times what equals 36? 8 times what equals 64? 5 times what equals 10? 5 times what equals 25? And 8 times what equals 72? Okay, so do you see what I did there? Okay, I flipped the problem around so that my dividend, my big number, became my product in my multiplication problem. And then I would be able to answer all of these, and I would be able to say 6 times 6 is 36, 8 times 8 is 64, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 5 is 25, and 8 times 9 is 72. Okay? So that brings us to our I can statement for today. I can use the inverse operation, and I'm going to underline that. Inverse operation of division, which we know is multiplication. So inverse operation, you can think opposite. Opposite operation. It's the opposite operation that's going to help us solve. Okay, so for division, we use multiplication. The opposite operation of subtraction is addition. Okay. So this is going to help us solve division problems. And we're going to start off on page 94. So if you would flip there, we are going to begin with A. So it's at the bottom of page 94. Okay. So I have a problem that's set up, and it looks something like this. Okay, and this box is blank. We need to know, or to figure out, what goes in this box. Okay, and remember, this box is going to be our biggest number because it is our dividend. Okay, so dividend is always our biggest number. It's this divided by the divisor. So divided by 7 equals the quotient. That's our answer. Okay, so that's after you've solved your division problem. That is your answer. So something divided by 7 equals 63. Now, we can also use multiplication. And if you remember what we just did up here, we flipped the problem around. So our dividend becomes our product. Okay, so the dividend right here becomes the product of multiplication. So I'm going to write that. Dividend, or the big number, is always the one that goes inside or under this little, we'll just call it a half rectangle, right? It's our little house. So the dividend that goes under that little house is always going to be your biggest number, and it is going to be the product. In multiplication. Okay, so when we're talking about multiplication, it's going to be the product, and when we're talking about division, it's going to be the one that goes under the house. Okay, so that's for dividend, but what about for divisor and quotient? Well, let's do those too. So we're going to put the divisor in blue. Okay, so when we're talking about division, our divisor, I started to spell that wrong. Our divisor is the one that is on the outside of the house. Okay, not on top of the house, the outside. Okay, so in division, we call it a divisor. It's on the outside of the house, knocking at the door. Okay, so we're going to say it's outside house. Okay, and then our divisor and quotient are always going to be smaller than our dividend, but the divisor could be bigger than the quotient, or the quotient could be bigger than the divisor. Okay, it just kind of depends on how we're solving. Okay, and in multiplication, the divisor is going to become one of the factors. One of the factors. Okay, in multiplication. It's going to be multiplied by something else. Okay, and last but not least is our quotient, and we'll do that in green. Okay, quotient on top. So here's our quotient. Okay, and we say that in division. And that's going to be whatever is on top of the house, or whatever is equal. Okay, so whatever it equals at the end. And actually, we're going to add to our divisor whatever we are dividing by. Dividing by. Okay? So the quotient is what it equals at the end. It's what's on top of our house. And in multiplication, it is going to be one of the factors. Okay, so the divisor is one of the factors, and the quotient is one of the factors. Okay, in multiplication. So let's set this up. If we know that the divisor is one of the factors, and the quotient is one of the factors, and that's going to give us the dividend, which is our product, we can say quotient times divisor So our quotient times the divisor, or you could do divisor times the quotient. So quotient was 63 times our divisor, which is 7. And remember, you can also set it up this way. It's going to give us our answer either way because these are both factors. And that is going to equal our dividend, okay, the one that we're trying to find. It's going to equal our dividend. So go ahead and take a moment and multiply that to get the dividend. Okay, and once you've done that, I will show us. 63 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Leave the 1 in the ones place, carry the 2. 6 times 7 is 42. Add the 2 that we put in the tens place. It is 44. Okay. So, our dividend is going to be, we can erase these question marks now because now we know. Our dividend is going to be 441. Okay, and you can always check by making sure it's the biggest number. Okay, that's one of our ways to check. Is this the biggest number? It is. Okay, and so we could fill in this box by erasing that question mark and putting 441. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, which is going to be B. And I'm going to erase these problems right here, but I'm going to leave what we had for understanding the inverse operation, what becomes what. Okay. All right. So let's see. B. We are given this. 6 divided by, 752 divided by 6, right? Because this is our dividend, here's our divisor, so 752 divided by 6. And then we have most of what it equals. It equals 125 with a remainder of, and we do not know, let's see what color we could use. We'll use red. We don't know our remainder. Okay. So we are going to set up multiplication. Obviously, you could do the division out and get the remainder. But we're going to put this in multiplication form. So let's remember what each of these words is called. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what colors we did. Right here. Oops. Ooh, sorry. Right here we have the what? It's the biggest number. It is the dividend. Okay, and then we have what right here? That is our divisor. It goes outside the house, and it is what we are dividing by. And then finally, up top, so this part is what? It is the quotient. So it goes on top of the house, and it is our answer. Okay, and then, of course, right here we have our remainder. So I'm going to write the full word out for remainder, because we just write R, because it's faster. But you should know how to spell it as well. So there's the remainder. Okay, and we're going to set up the same multiplication problem. Okay, so we know that the dividend is going to be our product, what it equals at the end. So 752, that's what we're going to get these two factors to equal. And then it doesn't matter where you put the other two factors, so I'm just going to put 125 times 6. Okay, well actually let me move that over just a tad bit. Times 6, okay? And now what do we do with our remainder? Remember, that's what's left over that cannot be a group of 6. Okay, it cannot be a full group of 6. So we know it's going to be less than 6. Okay, well let's just see, and we're going to multiply 125 times 6. Okay, so we got 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 6, so we did 5 times 6, then we did 2 times 6 is 12, plus the 3, so 12, 13, 14, 15. Put the 5 in the tens place, carry the 1. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, so we've got 750. Ooh, we're missing how many? How many are we missing? Look at the dividend. We're missing 2. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add on those 2. Okay, we're going to need to add 2 to get 752. Okay, and the reason we added those is that it's not another, let me fix this a little bit. It's not another full group of 6. Okay, because if it was another full group of 6, we could make this 126 times 6. Okay, and that would be 126 groups of 6. But it is not, so we need to add it because that's what we had left over. Okay, so remember we add our remainders, so that's a new rule. Okay, so when we have a remainder in division, okay, we know that that's whatever is left over. And we are going to need to add it. Okay, so when we're putting our multiplication problem together, that's the number we're going to add at the end. So let's see. Becomes whatever we add back. We're going to add it back. Add back when we're putting our inverse operation together. Okay. All right, guys, so this is it for today. You have an exit ticket. On your exit ticket, it's going to ask you to solve for n. Okay, n is just going to be our missing number. So I'm going to put that here at the bottom as well so you remember that. N, all the n means, hold on, let's do another color. Here we go. All the n means missing number. Okay, so don't let that trip you up. It just means the number that you're looking for. If you need to, you can go back and look at this. Okay, you can even pause it right here, this video, and be able to see what these mean. Okay. All right. And what I would like you to do is write the missing number, but also write the division problem. Okay, so it's going to give you multiplication, and I want you to reverse it to division. Use that inverse operation. Okay, so I want to know the missing number and what it would be in division. All right, if you guys need help, feel free to message me on Schoology and I will be here to help. Great job today, guys.